So I'm with Milton. We just spoke yesterday at the leadership conference in Zimbabwe here. And it's crazy because what do you tell leaders that are going through, they only have 4 hours of power a day at home. Family just feels crazy. There's fuel queues that are lasting 4 hours long, and everyone goes, hey, there's inflation. So people are earning 10% of what they used to earn. So how do you bring hope? I mean, you're on the ground constantly working with people. How are people managing right now?
The truth is that if you're not someone who's trusting in God, then you're barely managing.
But trust in God though. How do you trust in God? Because it's easy to say, hey, there's a scripture here for this issue, but it's hard to go, I'm going to live that scripture out.
Yeah. I think that's when now your faith then comes into question. I mean, it's tested, because you're believing, and then you're driving to work and you see a headline that just totally, we're no longer using the US dollar. You're like, you know what that's going to happen. Inflation is just going to shoot up.
Just going to shoot up, yeah.
So now it's like, okay, so what, how am I going to manage this? But I think one of the key things is the kind of relationships you keep.
Yeah.
Because right now it's very easy to find someone to complain with, to just speak negatively with. But finding the relationships that will keep you afloat right now is probably one of the biggest challenges.
And it's hard because people are so focused on self.
Yeah.
And when there's pressure, it's easy just to go, well, I've got my issues, you've got yours. Yeah. Let's just separate. And then when we hang out, it's like, well, I've got your label back. And we talked about labels, labeling a generation. And once you label something, it's hard to see a different label. Yep. You'll keep reinforcing that label. So if you say to someone, okay, well, you're busy, or you're psychotic, or you're crazy, you're going to keep on seeing craziness, psychoticness, busyness, and you're going to keep reinforcing that. What do you think the way forward is? Because a lot of people are watching and they've got issues. They've got stuff that they're dealing with. When the pressure's on, what's the best thing to do in relationship when you feel like you want to run away from relationship and just focus on you?
I think it's the realization that we need each other, and having the right people around is the first thing.
But isn't needing each other bad? Because think about it, like today it's like I don't want to need anyone because I've got to be me and an individual.
But we need each other to stay afloat. By myself, I could probably survive, figure it out. But sometimes you just need someone who will be like, hey, you know what? Have you thought about that? Have you seen that way? Or sometimes what happens is in a pressure environment, you can actually label yourself. I've gone through seasons where I've actually labeled myself and have convinced myself and told myself that, you know what? I think you failed. And
you put failure on you.
100%. And now fighting that personal label of failure has been one of the biggest.
Did you have to have someone else help you change that label? Other people, or just the environment you were in?
People. Some may not even have known that's what I was going through. Some people, like you, for example, would see something within me that I wouldn't see. And you would thrust me into places that I'm like, do I really have to do that? One of the things that you did with me actually was thrust me in a place where I had to speak in front of 3,000 people for the first time.
I remember that.
One of the things that you don't know is that when I think I was 15 or 16, I made a speech in front of the whole school, which was 400 people, and then my headmaster at the time declares no one should ever speak like that Jiri boy.
Because it was so bad.
It was bad.
What?
So now imagine I was...
he said that in front of the whole school?
Boys' school. So you know how that went.
Bro, people rip at boys' schools. It's all over.
It's a big mess.
Yeah, man.
So now having someone... So I would have felt like a failure. So I could speak in front of 80, 100 people. But now in front of bigger crowds, it got harder and harder. So now when you thrust me in there, I didn't have an option. You didn't give me an option. Yeah. So that label, failure, I had to work it out where I felt like I couldn't speak in front of huge crowds. Now I had to work it out. I had to break out of it.
Yeah.
Because of that. So that's the advantage of having relationships, needing someone when you don't want, but they can help you.
They change the label for you and with you.
Yeah.
And I think again, because Zimbabwe's going through a lot of stuff. Milton's on the ground. He's been leading stuff across different campuses to really address the issues going on in university, like sexual harassment, abuse of drugs, just all the different things that happen in university. And I think for us, saying, okay, we're going to help each other change the labels, but then also doing something together. What can we do together? Because relationship is hard and it's messy.
Yeah.
And you can assume so many things, and whether you're in a place of like Zimbabwe where everything feels like it's crazy, or you're in a place where just your mind battle, the social pressure is just crazy. It's about saying, what can we, how do we work together on something, and how can I be vulnerable with you so that I actually do need you? Because the tendency is to go, I don't need anyone.
Yeah, let me keep my labels. I don't want anyone else to see them.
Yeah.
I think the good thing about doing things together is that it forces you to relate more. It forces you to get to know each other more.
In ways you didn't even know you could relate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It forces you into each other's space even more. Because yes, we're working together. One day, our working together is going to cause us to have to work at one of our houses. So we have to meet, and I have to let you into my space.
Yeah.
And, it's those kind of things that are good about working together. And developing the relationship out of working together. It's actually easy also to work together, but stay just as whatever it is, partners.
Just colleagues.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. So it's important that you work together, but you realize that maybe God put you together for more than just the project.
Well, I like what you said on that, because I think if we're looking at a generation who may say, well, I don't know if Jesus is worth it, I think it's because there's a lot of people that have these relationships, but they got walls everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you have people who are committing suicide. Yeah. And you're going, where did that come from? Well, it's because the pressure and the labels were just kept to myself, and they didn't have anyone they could actually be vulnerable with. And I think it's not about being vulnerable, isn't about going, oh, poor me, woe is me. It's about going, here's where I'm at. I need help, and I need to change this because it's affecting me.
Sorry, when you're ready, both facilitators are here.
Thank you. She's making sure Milton gets ready for what he has to do tonight.
Yeah.
But listen. But I do appreciate you, and I appreciate the stuff that you do, not just what you do, but who you are and who your family is. And I know there'll be more lion hunts and more projects that we work on together.
Exactly,
But yeah.
Appreciate you too. Your family is special to us. My daughter misses your daughter like crazy.
Yeah.
And
it's good, man.
Yeah.
Daughters. Wait till you have kids.